We're pleased now to be joined by Andy Weitz, PGA Tour's Chief Marketing and Communications Officer and EVP of Investor Relations. Now, Andy joins us from New York City. You're in town for both the Sports Emmys and the Sports Business Journal Awards. Want to start by congratulating you as the PGA Tour's drone AR technology won the George Wenzel Technical Achievement Award at the Sports Emmys last night. Big night for NBC Sports as well. What's been the buzz about receiving the award?
Oh, well, first, hey, Damon, Eamon, great to be with you guys. Thanks for having me. And that's right. It was a big night for the team last night. Really exciting for our media team to be recognized in this way. For fans out there, this is the bird's eye view that we're able to give you from the drone, where we can actually take that shot off the tee and give you perspective live on where the drive is going, and then great, proportional perspective on where those players end up in the fairway. We think it's a great innovation. We're really excited to see it recognized like this. It's technology we own, patent pending, and we think it's just one example of how we're working to evolve what the broadcast looks like and be responsive to what fans want to see from us. And then to your point, tonight, we're headed over to the SBJ Awards, where we're excited to see TGL nominated for a Breakthrough Award, and an important investment. Again, we think a great way to connect with the next generation of PGA Tour fans. It's also fun to see our investors, the Strategic Sports Group, nominated for Deal of the Year for their investment in the PGA Tour. So a lot of great stuff going on, a busy time for us.
Well, Andy, speaking of the fans, it was last June when the PGA Tour launched Fan Forward to find out what the fans wanted from the PGA Tour. What have you found out? What do the fans want?
Oh, it's a great question. And for those who aren't familiar, Fan Forward is really the single largest outreach the tour's ever done to better understand the voice of the fan and what they expect from us, how we should evolve. And so over 50,000 respondents in the last 9 months, Damon, and really some key themes cut through for us. They want to see more live golf per minute, which is an obvious one for our core fans. And we'll talk a little bit, if you'd like, about how we're working to declutter the broadcast and bring more live golf shots to them. Secondly, they want more drama on every hole. They're telling us they want to understand risk-reward and how those top players make decisions, especially our fans who aspire to put themselves in a similar setting when they're out on the course on the weekend. They also want to better understand our players. They said, make them more relatable, help us understand their personalities, so when we engage and follow them, we understand what makes them tick. And then finally, in the course of a long regular season, they're telling, make sure every event has a purpose. Help us understand when to tune in, and the relationship, if you will, between full field events and signature events, and how we create playoff-like bubbles in the middle of the season to really bring more drama to our fans. So those four things cut through, and as a result, we're focused on broadcast enhancements, competition adjustments, which we've made some news on this year, as well as looking at how we support our players from a content perspective so they can reach more fans through social media. And finally, those on-site experience changes that make the whole family want to come out and be a part of every PGA Tour event.
It's not a positives there, Andy. What inspired the tour to go down this fan-forward road? I mean, was there a little bit of catch-up being played in the sense that there was a perception that the tour had spent the previous 2-3 years perhaps focused a lot on what players wanted and what players needed, given the threat from LIV, and that it was time to actually turn the lens a little bit more towards what the fans wanted?
Well, I really think it's about, you can make better decisions when you have data in your hands, Eamon. And we wanted to find a North Star, a way to set priorities that helped us evolve in a way that connected with our fans. We can't take for granted that the next generation of fans will just grow into being core PGA Tour fans. There's a lot of things competing for their time. So we wanted to go out and systematically ask them, what they wanted to see from us. And listen, other sports have done this. I think Major League Baseball is a great example. And they found a lot of interesting things that helped them drive really constructive change in their sport. And in terms of our players, our focus is always on our players. If we have the relationship between fans and players working, everything else falls into place.
Speaking of gathering data, the tour is wrapping up this distance measuring device experiment, which is part of a plan to try to educate players more, I guess, about the speed of play and to build a plan going forward. We've talked about that a lot on this show, Andy, and including with some of your members. And a certain theme emerges, which is that you guys know who the slow players are. It's the same guys every week. And obviously there's weather or course conditions apply on occasion, but it is generally the same offenders all the time. Why not just target those guys, or why do you need more data when it comes to slow play?
Well, we're attacking it from every angle, right? And what we announced earlier this year is that we want to understand, first of all, if there's anything we can do from a technology and tool perspective to cut down on time between shots. And that's why you saw us test rangefinders in the way you just talked about. And that test just wrapped up. I think just last week, actually, we had 6 events over a 4-week period, and now we're studying those findings. I will tell you that the feedback from players, especially on our pathways, has been, yes, we want more of this. It just feels natural. And I think it feels, again, back to the fan, natural to them too. It's what they use on the course. So no reason potentially not to bring that into something that could be used at scale by PGA Tour professionals. So we'll look at that. Secondly, we're testing penalty policies, which begins to go to your question, I think, Eamon. And you saw us on pathways, especially on the Korn Ferry Tour and PGA Tour Americas, actually decrease the number of warnings. If a player's behind time and has a bad time, they're going more quickly to a stroke penalty. And you saw that happen down in Peru to Hunter Wolcott. He actually was assessed a stroke penalty for a bad time, and he went forward to win the tournament. I mean, he accepted the policy, he agreed with the bad time, and he recovered and ended up in the winner's circle, which is what we love to see. And then the third thing we've talked about is maybe a little bit more shared accountability. So could we begin to share some of these statistics? And you might see us experiment with sharing them amongst players first, because right now, for instance, on our app, a player can see their time, but they can't see, their fellow members. So perhaps that's one way we begin to more, insert more transparency into the process. We could also look at stroke time or total time per course. And by that, I mean, how long should it take to play a particular course? And then finally, we could look at average stroke time by player. And all those things are on the table, and we look forward to sharing more in the weeks ahead. I think you'll see more testing in the 2025 season.
I'm all for assessing stroke penalties, Andy, and I certainly thought it was a good sign when the PGA Tour Americas did that, certainly to a guy who was actually in contention for the tournament. I guess my question to you is, when is that going to be applied to somebody who actually has leverage? When is that going to be applied to a player on the PGA Tour on the biggest stage of all?
Well, listen, Eamon, I think in a way, you kind of answered your own question. It's notable that we were testing it on pathways, so totally appropriate that we would be looking at the impact in effectively our minor leagues before we brought it to the majors, if you will. And to your point, meaningful that this was a leader who had a bad time and was assessed a stroke penalty. So it was a fair application of the new rule, and it was handled perfectly by our rules team and accepted by the player. And I think what's important is that we got to see the rest of the membership watch that. And you're exactly right. We got to start by testing at that level. We got to learn from it. And I think your question is a good one. And I think you'll see us take this all seriously, as we look into the fall season and potentially into 2026. But what I'd stress is, and what's so great about the tour and our relationship with the players right now, is this will be done in collaboration through our Player Advisory Council. This will be something that many of them have pushed for. They'll get to see the data. We'll make a decision together about the timing. That said, we're excited to take some of these learnings and apply them on the PGA Tour in the future.
Speaking of leaders, Justin Thomas has been a leader in talking about opening up access, better relations with players and broadcast partners, which I loved seeing. But we've also had some notable moments in Colin Morikawa at Bay Hill, Rory McIlroy at the PGA, not wanting to talk to the media, understand, upset about how they played. Difficult spot to be in, no doubt. But what is the tour stance on the player obligations to the media?
It's an important discussion. I'm glad you've raised it. And I think it all starts back with the fans. I know that our players want to connect with fans. They want to allow them a window in to what it takes to win at the highest level. And they want to humanize that moment when potentially they come up short. And I know that our partners in the media want to help tell that story at scale. It's good for everybody involved. I think to the examples you gave, and it's important not to single out any one player, there are moments when players decide they need to step back. But I'd say on balance, and that's a key word here, I think, balance, our players are offering more access than ever before. If you look at the pre-round interviews they're doing, the special segments they're doing with some of your colleagues at the Golf Channel, in addition to the walk and talks, I think our fans are getting closer. And I agree with you. We need to look at the right way to strike that balance post-round, and it's definitely a discussion we'll continue to have.
Andy, Lucas Glover came on this show and talked about the Tour Championship, and he said bluntly he doesn't think that playoffs in golf work. He said if they did, we wouldn't have had to change the system every few years. Can you give the fans something to chew on in terms of how the season will wrap up in a way that seems satisfying for the fans and the viewers and the players competing in the FedEx Cup playoffs?
I love it. It's a great question, Damon. And I might point out that it's not every few years. I think our team has done a great job of being responsive and learning from the FedEx Point race and kind of changing the levels of points over time to really dial in the outcomes we want. But we're not done. It's been publicly reported that we're taking a hard look at the Tour Championship format. And to your point, we want to make sure our core fans are engaged by, that final stretch of the season. And we want to honor the FedEx Cup, something that a generation of players have grown up now saying they want to hoist that ultimate prize. And of course, we want to do it in a way that's engaging to casual fans. What they call the stick and ball fans, the basketball, the football, the baseball fans. And so we're looking hard at a format that honors the game, creates a more straight up competition, and ultimately is a fair test. And I think what's important here is our players are telling us they want balance. They want balance between recognizing a great regular season and the consistent excellence it takes to finish at the top of the FedEx Cup race. And they like the idea of more volatility and potentially playing more straight up for an outcome at the end of the season that has a true winner hoisting the cup in a singular kind of way at the end of the season. So we're working hard on that. Lots of great conversations with our Player Advisory Council. And I think you should look for news in the weeks ahead.
Would you care to share any of the details of that, Andy, since you're here?
I'm sorry, Eamon, you're breaking up. Now, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be breaking any news today, but I do welcome the opportunity to give our fans an update because, again, back to fan forward and that notion of fan research, it all starts with their voice. And we're trying to really calibrate the future of the PGA Tour Championship based on a combination of what fans tell us they expect from a culminating event and what players tell us honors the legacy and heritage of the FedEx Cup itself. We really like where we're headed.
Well, let me try another question that I know you're not actually going to give me any details on either, Andy, which is the CEO search for PGA Tour Enterprises. It's been reported that there are a number of candidates in the mix. What's the timeline on what that search is?
Well, Eamon, in all fairness, the day we announced the CEO search, I came on Golf Channel and talked with one of your colleagues about it. From the beginning, we've been super transparent about how excited we are about this development. I think it's totally consistent with the way the tour is evolving. You talked about momentum. A lot of people are talking about us being on the right track. I think the CEO search is about how we go further faster. And ultimately, when you raise $1.5 billion in growth capital, you want to make sure you're bringing capabilities in that can, steer us forward. It's a new chapter for the tour, and it means new skills. And the commissioner has been at the forefront of that. He's part of our search committee. We have a phenomenal search committee led by Arthur Blank, owner of the Atlanta Falcons and a number of sports teams, including the Atlanta Drive and TGL. Sam Kennedy, who is the president of the Red Sox, as well as Joe Gorder, the chairman of both our boards, and of course Tiger Woods at the table, helping with the interview process. So I don't think it's appropriate to put a timeline other than to say it's ongoing. And I think what's been most notable is the interest from across the world of sports and entertainment. It looks like there's a great slate of candidates really interested in being a part of this next chapter at the tour.
Andy, I want to ask you about something inside the ropes. Rory and Scotty have been shining stars this season, almost carrying the tour on their shoulders with their play. But at the same time, a number of players, Eric Van Rooyen, Lucas Glover, just to name two, have said that the tour is becoming a little too exclusive, down to 100 cards, too much emphasis on the signature events. I guess my question is, can both things be true at the same time?
I think they can. And Damon, I've used the word balance a lot in the course of our conversation today. And, the decision to take cards down to 100, that field size and eligibility process that we went through was player-led. And we spent better part of a year, studying it. We modeled it. We had players in the driver's seat, and weighing the pros and cons. And ultimately, for a variety of reasons, we decided that the reduction in cards was the right answer for today's tour. And, to where you started your question, I do think it's been a notable year with Scotty and Rory battling it out. But so many great storylines. Russell Henley chipping in to beat Colin. Hideki starting the season with his win at the Sentry in Hawaii. And then you see some folks who've been on the tour for a while, like Joe Highsmith stepping up and winning in dramatic fashion. I think what's important here is if you want to watch golf with meaning, played on iconic courses by the world's best players, you're watching the PGA Tour.
On the subject, staying with Rory and Scotty, Andy, they were also in the news last week because their drivers failed testing at the PGA Championship. That's a mundane thing. It happens every week in this game. It happened under a different entity last week. Most weeks the testing is conducted under your entity. Because it is mundane, it's not a surprise to the rest of us, but there are a lot of bad faith actors out there who try to pretend that there was something nefarious going on here. In the interests of the transparency that you're talking about, why doesn't the tour make that kind of information public on a week-to-week basis? Because it is generally kind of meaningless.
You know, Eamon, it's a good question. I think, like a lot of testing that occurs across the world of sports, it's done in a confidential, private, manner for this very reason, because it could be misinterpreted if it was taken out of context, which respectfully I think occurred in these cases. As you alluded to, this is something that our rules team does on a regular basis. They just want to make sure that we have conforming clubs. And what that means basically is we're keeping the equipment manufacturers in check. We're working within a certain set of limitations, because when you're hitting that ball that many times, being practiced around the course with your favorite club, over a period of months, you begin to wear away at that face. And just like beating a drum, it begins to bend that metal. And so all we want to do on the margin is make sure that everyone is within the limits. And the fact that it became a story is unfortunate. And I don't know that that kind of transparency actually helps, because in this moment, I think what it's demonstrated is it takes on a life of its own. And it's a confidential process that's been successful for many years. And I think we intend to continue it in that manner.
Andy, toward the end of the last year, about the time it was announced that the PGA Tour was looking for a CEO, there was a lot of momentum, at least smoke and some noise and rumors about a potential deal between the PGA Tour and the PIF. Here we are in the middle of spring, heading towards another summer. Is there any update on the negotiations between the two sides?
Well, you guys, I'm not counting the minutes and seconds, but I think it is notable that we've made it to this point in the conversation without getting to the deal and where we stand. I think it speaks to, the way the tour is focused on the things we can control and the news we're making through broadcast innovation, competition adjustments, like I talked about, the player content, the on-site experience, all these things that we can control. I have no new news to share in terms of the negotiations with the Public Investment Fund, other than to say we're fully focused on delivering for our fans, and we know they want to see the best players in the world playing together more often. We share that desire, and we're leaning in. Ultimately, we're doing everything we can to control the outcome, and we're doing our best to update people along the way, but nothing more to share today.
But it has been 90 days since that White House meeting involving the Public Investment Fund and Commissioner Monahan. And there is an anniversary fast approaching, the second anniversary of June 2nd. Is there any internal dynamic at the tour that would suggest that at some point, perhaps by June 6th, you need to set some kind of clarity that you're either following your own momentum or you're going to continue conversations that don't really appear to be going anywhere?
It's a great question. I mean, I think the way we look at it is we're focused on delivering for the fans, and we want to keep our options open, but you're exactly right. It's been put differently by different people that ultimately it takes, a common set of engagement from all involved to get to an outcome. In terms of dates, I think we're focused on this weekend, the Charles Schwab Challenge in a great field with Scotty and Jordan, hometown heroes, alongside Ricky and other fan favorites. Next weekend at Jack's Place, the Memorial presented by Workday, a phenomenal field, and then, on to the RBC Canadian Open. And those are the dates that matter to us, because delivering that great fan experience, when we get that right, it works for everybody. You see the kind of investment surging that we have from our partners. You see the fan engagement that I talked about going up year over year. And ultimately, you see players more aligned than ever before. So again, focus on what we can control, keep our options open, and stay focused on the important stuff.
Andy, listen, we so appreciate your time. Know you're very busy. The Outsiders is a terrific show. If you got some time in the city, Pacers, Knicks at the Garden as well. Game 1 tonight, but I know you got lots going on. We look forward to seeing you at a green grass tournament sometime down the road this summer.
Great to be with you guys. Damon, thanks for the Chamber of Commerce recommendations. I'll do my best to check those boxes. And I hope to make it out to you guys in person next time. As always, thanks for the opportunity.